And I'd heard Heiss talk about the Mises Caucus on Tom Woods, and then he started talking about the decriminalization of mushrooms and decriminalization of weed, and how he was getting that stuff done in like fucking Pennsylvania or some shit, like the middle of nowhere. But he's just working with the cops to make it happen. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, if dude could just literally walk up to the city and be like, let's not bust people for pot anymore, and they just go for it, and that's all you have to do. Like, we need that. Like, I want to be on that guy's team. And like I said, I didn't know how serious the Mises stuff was gonna go. Uh, so like I was like supporting the LP sort of, but not really. Uh, and then uh, Matthew Butts got my phone number. And once Matthew Butts has your phone number, he will contact you until you join.
Yeah, another California-based libertarian activist,
Uh,
dude who's involved in the party and the Mises Caucus, all there. As you're referring to Michael Heiss, of course, before
yeah,
founder of the Mises the Caucus,
of the Mises Caucus.
was originally created, I guess, was it 2017 or 18? Not all that long ago. To give people listeners a little bit of a timeline where we're
Yeah,
at.
no, this has all happened fast.
Right.
Um,
I'm kind of right there with you. My journey and path is fairly similar from 2012 Ron Paul up until like just kind of paying attention to the party, kind of in and out of the LP here and there. I don't like it this year. I like it this year. I figure what the hell I'll support, but never really being super duper involved and engaged. Over the years until more recently, of course, with Heiss and the Mises Caucus taking over the party and trying to get it back to more of those Ron Paul principles and values. And to listen to us talk about Ron Paul, throughout this podcast, it's easy for people who are not engaged in this moment to think of us as like Paul bots or something like that. But whatever, it is what it is. Because like I do find it hard to disagree with the guy on issues, and like because the thing about libertarians and us is like we do take all the issues seriously. We do think about things. We do think about the consequences of our positions. So like whether it's Ron Paul or someone else who's might be sharing a thought or a position, we give it thoughts. And if the guy's right, the guy's right. And at the very least, the guy's definitely honest and not bought and sold and paid for. So let the haters say what they will in response to that. But figured I'd get that off my
yeah.
chest.
Well, I would say it's one of those deals where like people get drawn together from some like a good live band. If you go and you see a band play and live, they have it going on. Like not what's recorded, not on the album, but like actually like physically in person, you can tell if they're full of shit or not. Ron Paul was like a political rock star like that, like a philosophical rock star. Like you could just tell he wasn't full of shit. I think we've already covered that before. You want people to trust you, you want people to believe you, just don't be full of shit. Uh, but like all of us it's not necessarily that we all fanboy over him. Uh, it's just amazing to me that like all of us have found a connection together through some old ass man. Like that just happened, like just because he ran for president, like now all of us have all finally found each other. And I mean, it took 10 years, but like it's crazy. There's a lot of us out there that, I mean, Ron Paul kind of changed it.
Yeah, and the great thing about the Mises Caucus, especially, is, at least in my opinion, is like after Ron Paul's presidential runs in 2012, the energy, the spirit, and even the principles too, of course, like that sort of was brushed aside for various reasons, other political candidates and issues, and just Ron Paul himself just not being as much in the public eye when you're running for president. Obviously, you are, but
Right.
with the Mises Caucus, I think at least we have principles to guide us, and Ron Paul's influence in the caucus, and we have a sustainable thing. Like it's the sustainability that I think is so cool this go around.
No, I agree. It won't just end after an election cycle. And if we can all keep going together, then that means that the LP itself won't just end every election cycle. Like we might actually be able to turn this into something
Right.
other than just, I mean, it's always been a protest vote, but what if we
Sure.
could make it into something more than a protest vote? Even if we're not winning elections, Ron Paul didn't win, but he woke everyone up.
Right.
So even if we can get to a point where, okay, well, we're not going to win, but if we can rattle the cage, I mean, at least we're finally doing something.
Right.
Like,
And I mean, I really appreciate and support the whole concept of the Mises Caucus, and I guess the LP now is part of that too. Is that just the idea, like on the national level, we're going to focus on messaging and getting people's attention, rattling the cage and pushing the envelope and the Overton window and all these things on the issues that we care about, and at the same time running candidates at local levels, like school boards and city councils, and maybe even higher than that, trying to influence things on a local level and gain control of people, our political destinies, on that front. And also just issue
we have
coalitions.
a
One more thing, this
we
the
have
issue.
a oh yeah, yeah.
I was going to say the issue coalitions is the third prong. The third part of it is like building
Hmm.
issue. Where do we agree with Democrats, Republicans, anyone? Like, what issues can we work together with other people on? So I think those three things are it's a great approach. But what were you going to say?
I was gonna say we have a Mises Caucus guy from California who moved to New Hampshire, and now that he's in New Hampshire, he's running for sheriff. And he's legit.
Yeah, Ben Weir. You're talking
Uh,
about Ben, aren't you?
yeah,
Very cool. Yeah.
yeah, emo for sheriff.
Oh, is that
But
a good thing? I guess so.
yeah, he owns it.
Yeah. No, I know.
But no, it's like everyone like you said, when it comes to local office, another California guy, our friend Kelly Carden ran for county supervisor during the primary, but because the way the primary rules work, the incumbent ended up just taking the office. But he is on his town council now. So like we're starting to get everybody into spots, like you said, the small local, real local, real decentralized spots, and try to start making decisions specifically in our own towns, and then use the statewide or use the nationwide spots just to draw attention to ourselves.
Right.